perhaps the most important thing to happen on Earth
Yeah.
ever.
So, as a result of this all being blamed on America,
Interesting looking person.
we have a report that says the 27 EU heads of state, including the British Prime Minister, are asking America to answer for this.
To answer for why no American citizens going to every country to
Blow something up. This is
why are
absurd.
you trying to understand? It's like they're terrorists. They're not like American soldiers.
It's
We
absolutely
don't. Yeah,
fucked up.
we're not with them. That's why they had to do this without our help. Also, they're not with us. Also, we'll help you bring them to
Also,
justice.
you can't trust any of this information because nanotech veils, like,
Yep.
and scrolls and
Literal
shit.
fairy woman who can shape
Yeah.
shift. Like, we're not forgetting that She-Hulk.
You
Yeah,
can't
shit
get out
show.
for a funny and then forget about it completely. It's not allowed.
The scene begins with like, Colonel, are you denying two of your citizens were present in the attacks? And he says, I'm aware of allegations, and as private citizens, they are welcome to travel countries. I'm happy to have the photos analyzed at Langley, which, by the way, is possibly the most reasonable line of dialogue in the entire series. That was like a good answer. There's nothing you can trust for sources of information when it comes to like a recording in this universe. Neither is there a problem with people visiting places. That's not illegal as far as I know. The fact that he said, we'll have them analyzed if you want. And the response, by the way, is like some of the country's representatives just go, oh. It's like, what? What did you expect him to say? Yes, it was us. We blew up Russia. Like,
Big times.
what? Scene is fucking crazy. Um, yeah, and then he says, if Slovakia rolls its eyes at me one more time, I'm going to put on the suit and carpet bomb it.
If Slovakia rolls their eyes, yeah, the country of Slovakia, not the
Slovakia.
representative, you would probably go, right?
It's just weird because that's not something you should
It's
probably
like if
say in the scenario.
It's really bad. It's just that the way that he's referring to a person as a country reminds me of that South Park episode where the alien guy came to Earth and they found a bunch of space cash in his ship. And then Randy's on the phone with all of the representatives of all the countries around the world and you just say like, shut up Finland, or like, will you listen to me, you know, India.
Yeah.
It's like, it's such a, like, it's funny in that instance, but wouldn't he know his name? You know? It's not like, oh, Crystal Slovakia rolls his eyes. What is that? Like, what is this?
Yeah, and he just says, we're not going to do it. Like, Americans won't do anything until you have evidence. And it's like, oh. It's just funny to me that he was dragged out there just to say, you have evidence. That was it.
Also,
No, we don't have evidence, but, you know.
in this little meeting, look at the little assemblage of countries that they have. You have like Slovakia, Pakistan, Italy, and like what about like what a strange like who look who the fuck cares what Pakistan thinks about anything? Like what? How come we have like Denmark over there? Okay, we have France and some of the big ones, but like it's kind of weird that Pakistan's just like over there.
I think
You know,
what's strange about it, I guess, is
Slovakia.
that it's like,
We're in Congo.
yeah, because what did they say there was?
Countries?
They said in total there's 27, and so we have like names. There's about 8. Seems a bit odd, but fine. I guess they're the ones that are allowed to speak. No one else is.
Yeah, do we have, so we have Germany there, that's good. You have, I guess the big three, France, UK, Germany, there's Denmark on the left. So I feel like we should have these really filled out with a lot, like what about like Japan? You know, China, South Korea, like American ally, like really strong, staunch American allies and other NATO countries. Is Pakistan in NATO? Is Pakistan in NATO? Um, Okay, it does. Okay, Pakistan is in NATO. Okay.
There you go. The more you know.
Where's Australia?
Australia's not part of NATO.
NATO's global part. It says here that we have. Well, Pakistan isn't. Well, hold up. It says here that NATO has a number of quote unquote partners across the globe, which the alliance cooperates with on an individual basis.
Australia's not in NATO. Australia's part of like other treaties and alliances, but we're not in NATO.
Pakistan's not in NATO either. I thought it said that. Partners across the globe.
Well, remember, North Atlantic, so it's Europe and North America.
So surely, if Pakistan's here, you have like Australia there, you know.
I'm not
and
fussed with the list of countries that are in this scene. It's more so just that this scene is like pointless. It's just like Muller said. They just brought Roy over, and it's like, oh, do you have evidence?
It wasted his
Alright,
time.
Well,
I guess
the
that's
point
the end of the conversation, man. Like, what's the point of it?
Slovakia was just happy that he was invited someplace. He's like, oh man, I get to go to a meeting. But this scene is like, oh, we believe that America is evil now because of this one thing.
Hey,
And
we'll
all-
get there. There's a line that
uh,
regards that was really, really funny soon. Because we're about to get the Fury Rhodey meeting, which is horrible and cringe.
With some of the best ADR that I've ever seen in a Marvel production.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to play that as well. But it's pretty good. So, yeah, Fury meets up with Rhodey, and remember, Fury is right now thought to be the one that has detonated the bomb, or at least through negligence caused it, as well as just being off the grid with AWOL, as they said. So,
That is an argument. That as a conclusion is already like absurd.
well, but it's enough that they're going to take him in,
Oh,
obviously.
they have to.
There's no way they're going to let him go, but of course he leaves this place pretty easily because he's an old, sad, useless Fury.
If anything, if that last scene is anything to indicate, this is an incredibly tense geopolitical situation right now.
Yes.
You know, like, you gotta take him in.
So,
If they figure out that you just fired him and didn't arrest him, then
Yeah, imagine if they found out. It's like, oh my god, you're harboring like a wanted fugitive.
Rhodey starts with, like, you're lucky I'm not handing you over to a Siberian retirement facility, as if to imply that he vaguely believes, but the problem here, by the way, is you can't trust anything that Rhodey's, we're gonna have to kind of talk about that now, I guess. Everything he says is suspect, is kind of what I'm getting at. You get the reveal at the end of the next episode, I think, right? It's me hear the voice, so that's the full, well, not necessarily the most explicit, but at least that will be explicit. So, whatever. We don't need to answer it. I'm saying is that Skrull is a Rhodey. It's
I think which
it's
everybody expected. It's not a surprise at all.
It was kind of sad to think about because when crafting this show, looking at all the current characters, it was like I think people theorized that what would be the most interesting yet least impactful. But even then, it would be about exactly when you choose, which we will talk about, but not yet. We're just gonna go with the fact that he is currently a Skrull. And so everything he says, you have to think about it from a perspective of he's trying to subvert Fury and work for Gravik. So kind of like, you know what I mean? Like judging the dialogue is equally confusing as it is shit. In any case, he's doing that disrespect shit, and then Fury's like, you forgetting your rank here, Colonel? That's the thing I was saying earlier that I was confused. I would have thought already Colonel was higher rank than Fury anyway, but I thought he was even higher than that now, and the Fury doesn't even have a rank.
So,
This is what I mean. It's just like you forget your rank. It's like, isn't he? He's a higher rank than you. What the fuck? Yeah. And Rhodey says, "I'm the last friend you got." He says he was trying to stop the attack, and then Rhodey says, "Well, good job. 2,000 set to triple when they clear the rubble. You've not only set the stage for World War III, you flipped all of our allies to Team Russia."
because that's a thing you can do. What? You know how much we love Russia.
Not a thing. And it's so funny that it's just a foregone conclusion that everyone believes America did this. It's like, no. That's just something people are claiming. That guy who worked for America against Russia, which is why it just doesn't make any fucking sense. But yes, that's the state of the world. That's what they want us to believe is happening.
And in this, doesn't he admit that he was told years ago that Skrulls exist?
Yep.
So Europe should be like, well, if they think that America did it, why didn't you just tell them it was the Skrulls? Because it was.
But again, we say this like there's so many reasons to think it could have been anything. We've got tech. There's loads of tech that can make this happen. That's not even Skrulls. It's just so weird that they just assume that's the case. And yeah.
That's why I think this is something that they should have been accounting for way back when they had the Doc Whittledale thing. Like if you have that type of technology, then that's just as dangerous as a Skrull, But it seems like they're not prepared for this at all.
well, it was in Civil War. Remember in Civil War when someone didn't even use the same tech? That was like prosthetics. And that was a huge international incident. And that was
Oh my
10
God,
years
you're
ago
so
on this
right.
timeline. You can't
Just make up.
Yeah, and that was something known it was the case
Yeah.
that Winter Soldier was framed. So, like, how can they believe anything? Why does the show keep forgetting the world that it's set in?
That's so ridiculous. They should be so on guard for that specific thing, like that type of Yeah, so they just ignore it completely.
So, on the point of 15 years that he's been aware of them, which, by the way, Fury takes pretty easily. He's just like, wow. Yeah, and he says the Pentagon were made aware of several light ships crashing to Earth 15 years ago. But
Wow.
the thing about this is, that would have been something that Fury, like, that would be happening with the Talos scrolls. That must have been the million that Talos smuggled in, right? And so you're telling me the Pentagon knew about those, but Fury didn't.
Fury, when S.H.I.E.L.D. still existed 15 years ago on the timeline, didn't
Yeah.
know. Really?
You didn't know about that, but the Rhodey found out about it and didn't tell
And
anyone.
tell Fury, yeah.
And then it all cascades. It's like, wait, Rhodey's known that Skrulls, shape-shifting aliens, have been on Earth for 15 years. So every single encounter he's ever had with any suspicious activity in any of these stories, he's never entertained the idea it could be Skrulls.
And he didn't tell anybody.
And of course he tells Tony. How can you not tell Tony?
You would definitely tell Tony. It's the first person you would tell.
Spies for who, right?
Oh,
No, they have no
And all
interest in
stars.
the scrolls.
Is
It's
that-
crazy.
If that's the case, that may well have been on the files, right? It got leaked in Winter Soldier, because that would have been before Winter Soldier, the Skrulls would have landed on Earth. Or rather, if Rhodey knew that 15 years ago, then that means S.H.I.E.L.D. could have known and it would have been on their files, and then everybody found that out.
no.
We should call it.
Oh, here it is. All right. So
Because
this is,
Hydra would have known by that extension, right?
Yeah.
Sure, we
Oh, you gotta play AR.
yeah, I'll play this once. There's a copyright, never knows what's gonna happen. But basically, Rhodey
No
said
living
maybe we should call
machine.
our friends, and this is what Fury says in response. Just give me a sec. I'll let you guys know when it's over, because chat gotta see this.
Maybe we should call our friends.
No, okay.
You know, I'm gonna pause. Just I'm cutting it in half for safety. All Fury says, no. Here we go. All right, listen up. Here we go. This is it.
Ain't jump the gun on that. We get them in a fight with the Skrulls, and next thing you know, they find themselves duplicated.
Catch that, chat? This is some of the most blatant chopping in of audio that clearly wasn't there before ever. The line, for those who couldn't listen for whatever reason, he says, no, we can't jump the gun on bringing in the Avengers. We get them in a fight with the Skrulls, and the next thing you know, and then it hard cuts into him saying, find themselves duplicated and turned into terrorists.
Which that's bizarre and confusing and not a good reason not to bring them.
Yeah, so my theory, and I totally fucking felt like it was confirmed when we get to a certain line in episode 5, because this was done in post, so episode 5 wasn't, and episode 5 matches what I think was supposed to be said in the scene, which is, no, we can't jump the gun on that. If we get them, being the Avengers, in a fight with the Skrulls, and next thing you know, he was cut off into a different line, but I think the original would have been like, that's going to make the situation worse. It's going to have all kinds of powerful people doing all kinds of powerful things, everything will get out of control. You know, we want to control this. That's probably what it was originally, which makes no fucking sense at all. And they probably realized that. And so then they recorded the new line of him saying, you don't want to find the Avengers duplicated and then turned into terrorists.
It's like, well, what does that mean? Like, duplicate Captain Marvel, and then you can't. Well, we're not there yet, right? So he couldn't have meant that.
Well, no, I mean, like, duplicated. But in terms of, like, if a Skrull,
I would imagine is that somebody, I don't know, duplicates like Sam, and then I don't know, pretends to be Captain America or Falcon, you know, going around doing crazy
Which they
shit.
can already do anyway.
I can already do that because all they need to do is like see like a video or something, a video recording of that.
That's funny.
Copy it.
You're going that way. I actually, when I said they can already do that, I meant that technology allows them to do what Skrulls can do to the Avengers.
Yeah,
They can do
yeah,
that
That's
anyway.
right. Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
absolutely insane nonsense that doesn't make any
And this
sense.
is the end. And again, if the Skrulls win, it's the end of the world. So you know, it might be worth it to take a risk here.
This is kind of like a classic moment. It's so like almost naked the way that they've done this, like the writers. It's like that first reason that I theorized was that the thing was crap, and they realized it. The second reason is even worse. I would say that makes even less sense. They come up with a third reason in the penultimate episode, we talked about it earlier, he says this is personal, this is his fight. That's what they give us their final reason. But my theory is, he said that it would be it would cause too much trouble to bring them in now. The stakes they get pretty serious by the time we hit the penultimate episode, and so that wouldn't work anymore. And so they had that bonus reason of this is personal, this is my fight. But then they
the finale contradicts all of them.
well, I was gonna say then they ADR'd this scene, but they didn't change that later episode 5 one. So now it's we can't bring them in to be duplicated. And then he's asked again, and then he says, well, this is personal. Like no, you said they can't be duplicated.
Or was that bullshit, you know, that first time when
And
it
yes.
was a lie?
Just for you are correct. That's all gonna get subverted because of what happens at the end. Yes.
Yeah, like
All of that
it's
stuff.
every single one of them. And that was the stupid thing. Like, episode 5 ends with him going, like, giving his reason, and then the first thing he does in the next episode is break it.
You're right. Yeah.
Oh.
it's nothing but off.
Why, if they can't have the Avengers in because they'll turn into them, why do they need the machine to turn into them in the first place?
So we can have even more?
Why must you ask these difficult questions?
Like, because he had the DNA and everything, he could have just put it on his finger or something, presumably, and just transformed into it.
How amazing that this is just something they can do, period.
Yeah, the whole group arm.
You can just
Hey, wait. Lay off, alright?
Yeah, we're not to Galador yet.
Good God, the most shocking things are still yet to come. This review, by the way, we've gone this far. This show is absolute ass. It's ridiculous. What's funny about the length though is we're not too far away from being done with episode 2, and that will actually put us at the halfway point because the first two are
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Okay,
good. You do that. So yeah, he says like basically, Brody, help me fight my scroll wolf, and he's like, no. And then he says, are you forgetting who helped you get your seat at the table? Which I was a little confused by. I had no idea Fury had anything to do with Rhodey's rise to Colonel. I had no clue that that was the thing that happened. I thought they were separate entities until the Avengers stuff. But I guess apparently Fury helped Rhodey get to where he is. And so Rhodey says, oh, so I owe you now? And then Fury says, we owe each other. Men who look like us don't get promoted because of who our daddies know. Every ounce of power we wrestle from the vice grip of mediocre Alexander Pierces who run this world was earned in blood. So let's make the power mean something. Help a brother out. Pretty cringy.
Yeah, that's
Just
how do they explain a
Do you think that like sometimes they just did the no teeth argument again because it's like why don't you just say what you were saying? He says men who look like us. I mean, do you mean black men? And then when you say Alexander Pierce, you mean white men.
it's so fucked up the way they try to twist it. It's like I'm just sitting there like, what am I supposed to take from this? Like if you're gonna be that last off, just like actually,
Just say it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they
Especially when you find out that Fury didn't do any of his own actions anyway, and he all owes it all to someone else, and he's kind of right about it.
Brody's not a black man right now. He's someone It's so fucking awkward. Like,
Oh my god, that's so true.
and then something that kind of just annoys me. I don't know if you guys remember who Alexander Pierce is, villain from Winter Soldier. Robert Redford played him. That's a character who Fury had a lot of respect for. They have a huge history. They work together. Like the idea that he's now referring to him as the mediocre Alexander Pierce. It's like, no, you would hate him. You wouldn't go like he's mediocre. It's like you'd hate what happened, but respect it. Like it doesn't represent at all the relationship that Fury had with him. That was like a super important one. That
Yeah, you would only have strong opinions on
Yeah.
this. You wouldn't have like he was just a middling guy. It would have been, you really liked him before, and now he really dislikes him.
and I don't buy the.
Either a connection.
I don't buy that he would think that Alexander Pierce got to where he was because he was white. I don't think that is something that Fury would have. Like they fought in like wars together. Like I don't buy that that's something he thought.
It's very
That whole
reductive
history.
for a show that's being told.
It's super cringy and like I don't know what like help a brother out. He's talking about war.
At the barbershop,
We should borrow $20. Like that's what it sounds like. Like this is a serious conversation, but they treat it so childishly I just raised one eyebrow to this scene of just, what do you, yeah, it was bizarre.
Well,
It's
so-
such a, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Just that, like, it kind of, it's made
My
weird
dogs.
The fact that Rhodey's response, I think, is actually pretty good, but you're supposed to retroactively look at it as like a bad line because he's a scroll.
My dogs. EFAB guys, man. I really like how they break things down. I don't know when I started to look at movies like that. I had a weird relationship with the movie theater because of my predilection to get in trouble and to want to stay away from home. So either way, if I was in some shit and I didn't want people to know where I would be at, I never told anybody how I would do that shit, where I'd buy a ticket and then I'd just hop from theater to theater until it was 10 o'clock at night. Like, how was you gonna find me out there? You wasn't. Cause you get a matinee ticket for like $5.75 back then. Shit. I should get my laptop so I can get some music going. I'm just kind of like going through my old YouTube videos, and I guess I'll just play them in the background for now. Goodness gracious. AAA beats. Alright. Something's playing in the background. Hopefully we won't have no tornado sirens or no fucking... I mean, I hear an ambulance right now. Hopefully y'all can't hear that, but... regardless... I'm gonna watch a bunch of shit. I know it's been a while since I really sat down because I've just been out of there. Mentally, emotionally, just like, nah, I don't really want to give my emotion or my energy to this right now because it was feeling negative. So, like, as much as possible, I would like to stay in a positive mind frame. I don't know how the rest of y'all deal with the suffering in life, and I've been blessed to where I've only experienced very few instances of like extreme physical suffering, but in most cases, I'm just grateful to be alive, healthy, awake, able to think, able to make up my own mind. I was born in America. I was here. Like, there's so many things to be grateful for. So I just try to stay positive because I feel like if you're gonna think negatively, you're bringing negativity into your life on the back end. Like, on the front end, you're dealing with the stress and the worry of things you can't control. And then on the back end, you're bringing in negative energy in some other form to confirm what you thought. So I always believe, we can do this shit. Like, or it ain't that bad. And that has its cons too, don't get me wrong. But in the long run, I think it's for your best. Because, like, I can't imagine being in a situation where you're like, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, I can't. Life is too special. I even if I lost so many things, like, I keep thinking, like, well, what if I wasn't able to walk, or what if I got cancer, or what if, like, I think of all these different scenarios, and I'm like, well, I would appreciate the time that I've had and the time that I'm going to have until I'm gone that much more. It's just me. I mean, I'm sure there's situations where that might not be the case, but I can't imagine. You know what I mean? So we're gonna jump into a few things. I don't know why I went on that rant. I have been drinking a little bit of this Smirnoff Smash. I got the day off, and we're just gonna be chilling, with y'all. So, but I'm gonna jump into a whole bunch of stuff, and I have different people who send me these things, to react to. My brother, my wife, and other friends and stuff that, send me these videos, and they're like, something to react to, or they just wanted to show it to me or something. And so I have a lot of those in this stream playlist, but then a lot of them is just algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Algorithm bullshit. I do want to get the laptop. Well, actually, that's right. The PlayStation doesn't play any of these CDs. Which is weird. Because I used to, on my old PS4, because I left that one somewhere because I was just like, I don't give a fuck, I'm out. This way, this bitch will always think I'm coming back, but I ain't I ain't coming back nowhere. But I tried to put the CDs in this PlayStation, and I couldn't read any of them, so that's why I was like, well, shit, I got my own laptop, my other laptop, and that's the only one. This laptop ain't got no damn CD player. I was shocked. Confuzzled. You niggas looking at me. And I be like, is there something you see that you like? If it is, and if that's how it be, then write this down, nigga. I ain't into homosexuality. Nah, man. That ain't my style, boss. I'm never speaking on some shit that's false unless I'm exposing it and airing it out. I was too real to be a Boy Scout. They kicked me out just for showing those other kids what that tree bout. It's Cloud9, and we got the rebound, bitch, and I'm gonna slam it down, break the rim, and bring the fucking glass down. Wow. I don't know what kind of shit I was on.
Stay armed. Verizon's here.
9 years ago, at least. No, we ain't doing that. I don't know what that is, but we ain't doing that there. It's back on up. Rich mahogany. Oh no, we got some bots up in here, motherfucker. Likely harasser. Likely harasser. That's more than likely. Don't nobody click on that motherfucking link. I'll just tell you that right now.
I don't know what to say other than
That's not. If you see it, I don't even know if you can see it. Let me back up.
inspired this whole
Likely harasser. How do I block people?
8 bar or something like that.
Y'all know? Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. Da-da-da-da.
She was joking.
Warn. Timeout. Yeah, let's go ahead and ban them. Let's just go ahead and ban them. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a. Oh damn! They created another one already. Sheesh. Nigga, ain't nobody watching this stream. That's probably my wife just got this shit playing. You got a better chance. How many motherfuckers? Oh shit. So you been one of these motherfuckers flood. Then I gotta go by over here, just one by one. Just, hey, what's this? But the nigga stay high like a nigga rapper space. Old Ray came through, she say she planned the day. She ain't this place and she don't wanna hamper my stay, but she really need me to take them cramps away. She say, man, I'm really ragging. A nigga like Red just burst out laughing. Fantastic. Red dreams ain't bad dreams, but I'm smashing. Especially when it's cool to splash in. Baby, would you roll mine with a little hash in? Straight blasted, smoking gas shit. Bitch, it's that rocket fuel. You commute, dodge, ridicule, uniform rappers. Nigga, we already you. We paid dues, so now we get residuals. Females, bitches, and hoes, the kind you misuse. Home, FLA. Oh, how I missed you. I smell a rich mahogany. She said, Red, why you so hurting me? Putting me in a glass box for motion like Ron Burgundy. It's straight burglary. Nah, it's just a word to me. And nouns and adjectives too. Says what the jet fly to. Straight through Lebanon. Beirut. Baby, I just can't get one niggas to me and it ain't the same dudes. 100%. I raise the proof. Calling out the bitches. I'm a homer like Beirut. Ooh, and that's how I do. Pointing at him like, come here, boo. You already know what she gonna do. Whatever a nigga like me fucking tell her to do. Yeah. I don't know, man. We did this again. It's years ago. Years and years ago.
You're leaving me?
For a TurboTax expert. Sing it, Adam.
TurboTax will beat your price.
This fall, switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat the price you paid your pros last tax season.
Find purpose, build momentum for your studies, career, and life.
Nah, I guess I could have muted it and just been done with that. Oh, this gonna be copyrighted like a motherfucker. I love this song though. So you know the right price. That time, baby girl. Then be somebody you love. You ain't trying to move slow. She don't know how to rush. Don't know me. I don't know me touch. Oh, champagne, I'm ashamed of things I know that looks too baby. But it doesn't matter. I'm in too deep, and I know. I can fall, I can't fucking complain. That's on the plane. Thoughts of my past, I'm not hard to admit. So I'll confess to the truth in the name, nigga. I'm King Kong to the Snow Whites. These are skin of death's really good in the low lights. I'm getting brown in the whole life. Thank Jesus, a nigga never turned to a low life. Still fucking holding drugs in the crown molding. Still feeling like a pock when I'm rolling. Money is the motive. Tell them what the motive. Hoping I can stay alive in the moment. Still got my mind made up. You don't wanna see the fuck I'm made up. Probably in Miami area. Since the beginning, only looking at the beta. Never set it down, nigga, never go slow. Ride or die, nigga, need my own GoPro. Gotta feed the fam, this is all I know. Love for my niggas, this is all my bros. And all I fucking know is the risk. Ain't talking money, then they don't exist. My intuition is follow the vision. First you caught away, but then you win the trip. But I came from the dirt, but I'm also a van. Caught up in the dirt, but I'm also a man. I do not say this shit just for display. I pray you don't give me reasons to pray. No better, baby, I'm right. Too late, now they can't save us. They never found nothing live. It's the way that the game made. raining so slowly, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm in too deep, and I know. Don't drink them goddamn Smirnoffs. It ain't good for you. They're delicious, and I enjoy being drunk. But that don't mean it's good for you. What the fuck is this? The Butcher? No, let's back up off of that. Alright. So what are we gonna get into? That's the question. What are we gonna go ahead and get into? Let's pull back here. Oh man. Nah, I really do. I mean, I haven't watched Abba and Preach in forever. It got to a point where I felt like how do I put it? That they have no principles, no morals, no nothing that they really stand on. It came to a point where I was like, man, it smells like fish around this motherfucker. Like, if you catch my meaning. But let's see what's being said here. I can't hear. Oh, damn.
Can Abba and Preach. Some of my favorite creators on this platform just put out a video called God Cannot Be Like This. Okay? And let me just say this, just full disclosure. I'm a fan of Abba and Preach. I really like Abba and Preach. Mm-hmm. They are not believers. Preach was brought up in a Christian home. I think Abba was brought up in a Muslim home. But they make really good videos. They're entertaining. They're comedians. They're funny. Abba has been personally helpful to me with just giving me some wisdom and some guidance over the years, specifically when we had our little strike scare. So this video is intense, okay? So fair warning, hide your kids, hide your wife. But my hope here is to simply just provide a different perspective. Okay? So you've been warned.
Good or bad? Bad. How about the How about the one who commits adultery, zina? What about the one who rapes a child? What about the one who drinks alcohol? Good or bad? This person, one person that commits all of these sins, he commits all of these sins on a daily basis, but he prays is better in the eyes of Allah than the one that doesn't commit any of these sins but doesn't pray.
Watch their reaction to this.
No, I'm not going to talk shit about religion. Oh my God. The logic of religion. It is what it is. You believe in what you want to believe in. That's good. I just don't adhere to it. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to go further, but yeah, that's just not me. You, and that's on top of that, that's the interpretation of one person of religion. You know what I mean? So that changes too. Pretty extreme, whatever.
This is the Al Capone bike.
Pause it. So I like what Preach here said here. He said the logic of religion, and then he does nuance it. He says the interpretation of one person. There's a couple ideas here. I left a comment on this, and I said this is not the logic of true religion, because true religion is worship of the true God, loving Him with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, loving your neighbor as yourself, and caring for the widow and the orphan. That's actual scripture.
Hello.
So that's what true religion is. This is the logic of false religion. This is the logic of false religion, because the claim was you can do X, Y, and Z, the most barbaric, awful things, but
I thought it was talking, about God. Allah is not God. The Muslims are not worshiping the Most High. They're worshiping Lucifer. So, with that being said, I don't think this is really pertinent to anything that I wanted to actually go in on today. Let's see what we got here.
Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul.
Okay, guys. So last night, September 16th, Diddy was taken into custody in New York. He was taken into federal custody in New York. Now, reports state that he was taken into custody inside of his hotel lobby.
Breaking news now. The indictment against Sean Diddy Combs has just been unsealed. Combs is being charged with racketeering conspiracy, alleging he ran an enterprise, that he engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, or kidnapping, arson, and other crimes.
So, Sean P. Diddy Combs has been indicted by the feds and is looking at life sentences if he's convicted. Let's break down the indictment.
Firstly, this is Nate the lawyer. I've really enjoyed his content. There's a few lawyers that I've followed that seem to be crazy. Like after a little bit, after I see their response to a particular thing that I'm not sure how to, like Legal Eagle. At first I was like, okay, like this is somebody who's, he's got production value and he's got some effort into this channel, and it seems as though he's taking it seriously and accurate. And then you'll see things that he'll say that detract from his credibility as a lawyer, in my opinion. So Nate's one of those that I haven't actually. Have I disagreed with him about things? Sure, but they weren't. It wasn't the law, and it wasn't. It was something subjective. It wasn't something objective. So more often than not, I find myself agreeing with Nate, and there's a few others that I watch that I really enjoy their content. But it's important. The law is one of the only things that I think really truly binds us all together as Americans, or in any country. The law binds those people together if it applies to everyone. If it doesn't, that's when things start getting a little wonky. But I gotta piss, y'all. Fuck, what should I do? I guess I'll just put the EFAT back on. Hopefully those guys won't care. I don't think they will. They go through so much shit with their copyright shit. I doubt they would really care if I let y'all listen to them break down Secret Invasion while I pee.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Just that, like, it kind of, it's made weird by the fact that Brody's response, I think, is actually pretty good, but you're supposed to retroactively look at it as like a bad line because he's a Skrull.
Yeah, if he wasn't a Skrull, then he would have sided with him.
Yeah, I think that's what we're supposed to take from it, because he says the world is on the line, and we don't wrestle power away from mediocre men who don't look like us just to give it to people who do, like who are mediocre and do look like us. Which I was like, that's a good line. Like in response to the shitty line of just, we're both black, therefore we work together. He's like, yeah, but you're shit. It's like, well, like, you
shit bag.
crap at your job, so fuck off. It's like, yeah. But then, yeah, Brody's evil, so never mind.
Evil Rhodey the only way it makes sense. Like, that's crazy, man.
And then he goes into saying that you're fired, which was, like I said, I didn't even know who Fury's fucking working for. I don't know what Fury's rank is, I don't know what's going on, but he says Fury's fired now. And then Fury's response, instead of appreciating how insane this scenario is, that he's being framed, that he knows that Skrulls are trying to take over the World War III is imminent, and that his friend, who right now that he assumes, is a human, just said, like, I don't trust you and I'm firing you. This is actually existential for what I would consider a Fury character to deal with, losing all of his power and network connections, right? That's actually something that's going to affect him. Not to the point of making him depressed, but certainly to the point of worrying. His response is, they said you to fire me? Which just, it's like, what the fuck? Like that.
He's like second only to the president, isn't he?
He's pretty high up.
Brody's Secretary of State? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
He's number three.
Yeah, it's President, Vice President, Secretary of State.
Oh, because he said that the president doesn't know anything unless I
Yeah, in the show they present it as though Rhodey's basically the president at this point. He uses him as a puppet.
Yeah, we can't expect white people to be able to run anything.
Wrestle power away from those mediocre Alexander Pierces. That's what they gotta do. But yeah, I just thought it was a bizarre reaction that instead of being like, holy fuck, this has gotten really bad, he's like, lol, you're like, shut up, little bro, like, idiot. Like, okay, that seems weird on Fury's part, the master tactician man. And yeah, I think he says, like, nobody's, because yeah, he said, like, when he said, they sent you to find me, he says, nobody sent me, I volunteered. Which I feel like is one of those lines where you could have just said nobody sent me, right? That would have been enough.
Yeah.
Those opportunities to shave that they don't take. And he says the mess you created killed Maria Hill, so you've earned all of this. Which again is just like, but so now what? So Rhodey does believe all that shit happened, even though he was the one presenting all the arguments for why it's probably absolute bullshit. Okay. Why not? Unless he's doing it to annoy Fury, I don't know.
He says, you earned all of this smoke, brother. I'm like, I can't stand this script.
Yeah.
I was like, please.
Oh well, that's the evil Rhodey speech. And then they're supposed to take him away, by the way, but Fury, I think, like, breaks this guy's hand and takes his gun. And for some reason that means he's allowed to go free now, instead of it meaning all the other guards should come in and capture him.
Yeah, like, you can't let him leave, especially after he's just attacked you.
Well, if you think about it, you can't let him leave from a Colonel Rhodes point of view. You certainly can't let him leave from a Gravik Skrull point of view. And so it's like, what's going on here? How does Fury get out of this?
Walks out.
I don't know, he just does. You're like, okay then.
It's like one of the one scenes he actually has some agency, but it doesn't even make sense for him to have agency in this scene. Like, this is the one time, like, it's crazy how they do it.
Well, if you're, because he says, like, and you wonder why you're out, and then he says, I'm Nick Fury, even when I'm out, I'm in.
And then he goes outside and cries on the bench. Like,
Well, that's the thing. I thought the line was crap anyway, but then yes, he goes and cries.
yeah, and they double it up.
Best of the series.
Best of the series, maybe, sure, I don't know.
When he doesn't do anything else. The only other badass thing he does is walk out of a crypt. I like the only entire series.
There's just so much pressure, goddammit, I'm so tired.
Wow.
Like, claps on his head and his knees with the
Thing. How would you, wait, so it's said at this point he doesn't actually know that Rhodey is a Skrull, right?
I thought he did, like, so, this is the thing. He said he knows who is and who isn't a Skrull based on just the fact that someone wouldn't call him Nick. Rhodey calls him Nick in the scene. So the show is telling me Fury knows. But he doesn't behave like Fury knows.
No, he doesn't. And
Okay, now I'm confused.
Even Rhodey acts like he should have known from that, because when they're in the hospital later, he says something when he's like outing him, and he goes, yeah, Nick. So and he emphasizes it as if I did it deliberately kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all over the place, because Fury would be doing a lot different things if he knew Rhodey was a Skrull right now. He needs to tell everyone, first of all.
Even when he's talking to the British woman about it, when he tells her it's Rhodey, he even takes pictures. Like, how did you not know? You say, I'm slow. So he implies that he knew immediately.
Also, someone's just said something that I must check. I actually said I wouldn't mind getting these scripts for all films that have Nick Fury in them, or even references to it. Actually, all of the films in the MCU just Control F Nick, because I have a feeling that they made that up. And I don't think, you know, considering how they approach basically everything.
Well, that was what, when everyone was saying he's a Skrull, that was their justification, that nobody calls him Nick. So,
Well, that would be a cool thing to look up, because I could see them screwing that up. Like, one of the movies probably.
I know. So someone in chat just told me it's in the Infinity War script, so just Control F, you've got Fury says, same energy signatures as New York. Hill says 10 times bigger. Fury says, call Klein, we'll meet him at, and then Hill says, Nick.
Oh. Over.
And then, a few seconds later, she gets his attention because she's dusting and she says, Nick, again.
oh, okay.
That's
watch that scene in order to get that clip.
Yeah, I can't believe.
Wow.
At this point, this is just vibes, right? This image, that's just how we're feeling.
Yeah.
That's me in thumbnail. That's literally me right now. Just like, what is the show? How do you watch the scene to retcon it? We don't pay attention to the. That's mind blowing.
Well, when you write down the Nick thing, you're like, oh, we should check.
Just control that. That's what I mean. This is so easy.
We should check to see if that's not a lie.
You found that within the stream while we're live.
I never, like I said, I never checked. I just put out the idea that someone did. Someone controlled
They would never be that stupid. You would automatically assume, yeah, they would have to check, right?
There's no way they would lie so brazenly about something that would be so easy to double check and verify. It's a $200 million show. They wouldn't just not do it.
I think the retcon, that's a lie. The Nick Fury part. But
Wait a minute.
to see them screwing that up, like one of the movies
Oh,
probably.
so someone in chat.
For Crips, I feel like they're the exact series.
When I hear the giggles start going on, I'm like, oh fuck.
They said U to buy a V, which just, it's like, what the fuck? Like that.
He's like second only to the president.
He's pretty high up.
Third. Brody's Secretary of State? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
He's number
Then
3.
he's number 3. Yeah, it's President, Vice President, Secretary of State.
Oh, because he said that the president doesn't know anything unless I.
Yeah, in the show they present it as though Rhodey's basically the president at this point. He uses him as a puppet.
Yeah, well, you can't expect white people to be able to run anything.
Wrestle power away from those mediocre Alexander Peterses. That's what they gotta do. But yeah, I just thought it was a bizarre reaction that instead of being like, holy fuck, this has gotten really bad, he's like, lol, you're like, shut up, little bro, like idiot. Like, okay, that seems weird on Fury's part, the master tactician man. And yeah, I think he says like nobody's, because yeah, he said like when he said they sent you to find me, he says nobody sent me, I volunteered. Which I feel like is one of those lines where you could have just said nobody sent me, right? That would have been enough.
Yeah.
Those opportunities to shave that they don't take. And he says the mess you created killed Maria Hill, so you've earned all of this. Which again is just like, but so now what? So Rhodey does believe all that shit happened, even though he was the one presenting all the arguments for why it's probably absolute bullshit. Okay. Why not? Unless he's doing it to annoy Fury, I don't know.
He says, you earned all of this smoke, brother. I'm like, I can't done this script.
Yeah.
I was like, please.
Oh well, that's the evil Rhodey speech, and then they're supposed to take him away, by the way. But Fury, I think, like breaks this guy's hand and takes his gun, and for some reason that means he's allowed to go free now, instead of it meaning all the other guards should come in and capture him.
Yeah, like you can't let him leave, especially after he's just attacked you.
Well, if you think about it, you can't let him leave from a Colonel Rhodes point of view. You certainly can't let him leave from a Gravik Skrull point of view. No. So it's like, what's going on here? How does Fury get out of this?
Walks out.
I don't know, he just does. You're like, okay, then.
It's like one of the one scenes he actually has some agency, but it doesn't even make sense for him to have agency in this scene. Like, this is the one time that he, it's crazy how they do it.
Well, if you're, because he says, like, and you wonder why you're out, and then he says, I'm Nick Fury, even when I'm out, I'm in.
And then he goes outside and cries on the bench. Like,
well, I thought the line was crap anyway, but then yes, he goes and cries.
Yeah, and they double it up.
Best of the series.
Best of the series, maybe, sure, I don't know.
Well, he doesn't do anything else. The only other badass thing he does is walk over Crips. I feel like they're on the exact series.
There's just so much pressure, goddammit, I'm so tough.
Wow. He laughs with his head in his knees with the
How would you, wait, so is that, at this point he doesn't actually know that Rhodey is a Skrull, right?
No.
I thought he did, like, so this is the thing. He said he knows who is and who isn't a Skrull based on just the fact that someone wouldn't call him Nick. Rhodey calls him Nick in the scene. So the show is telling me Fury knows. But he doesn't behave like Fury knows.
No, he doesn't. And
Okay, now he's...
Even Rhodey acts like he should have known from that, because when they're in the hospital later, he says something when he's like clouting him, and he goes, yeah, Nick. And he emphasizes it as if I did it deliberately kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all over the place, because Fury would be doing a lot of different things if he knew Rhodey was a Skrull right now. He needs to tell everyone, first of all.
Even when he's talking to the British woman about it, when he tells her it's Rhodey, he even takes the pic. He's like, how did you not know? You say I'm slow. So he implies that he knew immediately.
Also, someone's just said something that I must check. I actually said I wouldn't mind getting these scripts for all films that have Nick Fury in them, or even references to it. Actually, all of the films in the MCU just Control F Nick, because I have a feeling that they made that up. I don't think, considering how they approach basically everything.
Well, that was what, when everyone was saying he's a Skrull, that was their justification, that nobody calls him Nick. So...
Well, that would be a cool thing to look up, because I could see them screwing that up. Like, one of the movies probably...
I know. So someone in chat just told me it's in the Infinity War script, so just Control F, you've got... Fury says, same energy signatures as New York. Hill says 10 times bigger. Fury says, call Klein, we'll meet him at... And then Hill says, Nick!
Oh.
Over. And then, a few seconds later, she gets his attention because she's dusting and she says, Nick, again.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty bad. Like this.
Yeah.
How did you...
Like, that's not even that long ago.
No.
Like, you're referencing that specific movie, and you're referencing that exact scene.
I have to watch that scene in order to get that clip.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Wow.
At this point, this is just vibes, right? This image, that's just how we're feeling.
Yeah. That's literally me right now. Just like, what is this show? How do you watch the scene to retcon it, but you don't pay attention to the... That's my moment.
Well, when you write down the Nick thing, you're like, oh, we should check.
Just Control F. That's what I mean. It's so easy.
We should check to see if that's not a lie.
You found that within the stream while we're live.
I never, like I said, I never checked. I just put out the idea that someone did. Someone controlled.
They would never be that stupid. You would automatically assume, yeah, they would have to check, right?
There's no way they would lie so brazenly about something that would be so easy to double check and verify. It's a $200 million show. They wouldn't just not do that.
I think the retcon, that's a lie, the Nick Fury part, but maybe they're just stupid. They just didn't, they forgot the other part of the scene. I don't know what happened there.
And it's funny too because if they were writing this, they're like, what would be a name someone might call him that definitely hasn't been used in other films? And then someone's like, Nick. Like, that sounds like something that might have been used. Like, nah, it's fine. We should have gone with Nicolicious. Nobody would have called him that before.
Nicolicious.
And he's like, nobody calls me Nicolicious.
No one calls me Nick with a hard R.
Would have nailed it, but oh well. And yes, he does wheeze and cry. It's okay. He needs a moment.
He's just depressed he's alive.
This is a federal indictment out of the Southern District of New York against Sean P. Diddy Combs, and it's packed with allegations of racketeering, sex trafficking, forced labor, and more. We're going to dive into the specifics and pull out direct quotes from the document to back everything up so you know that we're just not making this stuff up. Now, I'm going to ask you to buckle up because this is going to get intense. So the first charge that we want to look at in the indictment is the racketeering conspiracy charge under 18 U.S.C. section 1962 C and D, or better known as RICO. Okay, so what is RICO? Well, RICO is a law designed to target organized crime. And here the government is accusing Combs of running a criminal organization. The indictment states that Combs, quote, and others known and unknown were members and associates of a criminal organization, referred to in the indictment as Combs Enterprise. The enterprise, according to the indictment, quote, engaged in and attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Now, the Combs Enterprise was allegedly structured to serve multiple purposes, such as protecting Combs' reputation, reputation, ensuring his personal sexual gratification, and maintaining control over those around him. Now, one of the more chilling aspects of this indictment is that Combs allegedly secured absolute loyalty from members of the Combs enterprise through acts of violence and personal threats. Now, remember, RICO isn't about just running a business. This charge is about running a criminal organization where illegal activities are coordinated and carried out to maintain someone's power and authority over a group. Now, after stating that Combs' enterprise was a criminal organization, then the indictment goes into what types of crimes this criminal organization was performing. First, it starts with sex trafficking. Now, sex trafficking is illegal in the United States under 18 U.S.C. section 1591. Now, this statute simply makes it illegal to recruit or coerce someone in commercial sex acts through force or fraud, particularly if interstate transportation is involved. Here's what the indictment says happened in this case. It says Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. These performances were called, quote, freak-offs and described as elaborate sex productions that Combs himself orchestrated. The indictment alleges that Combs used his employees from his, quote, criminal organization to arrange for women and sex workers to be transported across state lines for these freak-offs. One key fact is that Combs allegedly distributed, quote, a variety of controlled substances to victims in part to keep victims obedient and compliant during.
I'm sorry that I have to do this, but I'm gonna do it just because. Probably isn't even appropriate for this particular. Oh. Well, damn.
Or in these freak-off events. The feds also allege in a document that in or about May 24th, during the searches of Combs' residence in Miami and LA, that law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and about 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Now, the thing that turns these freak-offs into sex trafficking events is the coercion and the interstate travel involved. See, the government is alleging that these women were manipulated, drugged, and coerced into participating in these sex acts, which is a federal offense. Now, this also mirrors what Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura said in her lawsuit when she alleged that Combs forced her to have sex with male prostitutes against her will.
R&B singer Cassie has accused hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs of rape and a decade of physical abuse. The two were romantically involved for years, but in a lawsuit made public today, Cassie says there was a pattern of control, drug use, and forced sexual encounters.
Lawsuit headlines with a trigger warning for containing graphic sexual assault information, describing in detail sex trafficking allegations, in which Combs would force Cassie to take drugs, wear masks, and perform sex acts on other men so he could watch. Cassie says Combs raped her when she tried to leave him. She says he beat her, then made her stay in hotels or his home until the bruises healed.
So as you can see, with all these lawsuits coming out against Combs, especially the one from Cassie, it clearly lays out the sex trafficking allegations that you now see in this federal indictment. Okay, let me pause this video and ask you a question. Have you used Google Chrome's incognito mode between 2016 and 2023? If so, you may be entitled to up to $5,000 in compensation. Now, if you use incognito mode, Google was secretly tracking your data, despite their promises that your search history and personal information was not going to be collected or tracked.
Collects 39 individual data points on you. And so this is all about data. They're trying to figure out how they can get access to it. So creating this incognito mode was supposed to be a way that they were not capturing or retaining your data. That's what we all believed, but they were capturing it. What Google says is we were capturing it, but we weren't keeping it on an individual basis. But the individuals that filed suit were saying, no, we signed up for incognito mode believing that when we used it, you weren't capturing our data at all.
What's the next thing, right? So speaking of what's the next thing, what happens to Google now? Are they at risk of more lawsuits from this?
100%.
So if you've used Google's incognito mode during the period of 2016 to 2023, you could be eligible to join the lawsuit at no cost to you. Visit browserclaim.com to see if you qualify. There are no upfront costs, no hidden fees. Simply fill out the form and start your claim. Now, I need you to understand, participating in any lawsuit doesn't guarantee compensation, but you do have the right to seek compensation if your privacy was violated. Now, full disclosure, my firm isn't the only one involved. For instance, one of the largest firms in the country, Morgan & Morgan, is also asking for clients for this lawsuit. Now, for more information and to get started, visit browserclaim.com today to protect your rights and hold Google accountable. Now, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, back to the video. Next, the feds charge Combs with violations of 18 U.S.C. Section 1589, forced labor. Now, this section criminalizes obtaining labor or services through force, threats, or coercion. Now, I know what you're going to say. The labor here isn't typical. It's actually sex acts, but it's coercion and force that make these charges stick. You're forcing people to have sex against their will, even if you're paying for that sexual activity. Now, according to the indictment, Combs used force, threats of force, coercion, and to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers. Remember, that's what Cassie was alleging. The indictment also goes on to say Combs allegedly controlled these women by leveraging his financial support and threatening to cut them off at any time, effectively trapping them in these situations where they had no other options. Now, the feds point to the threatening nature of Combs's business environment by saying that on one or more occasions, Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims and witnesses of his abuse. Now, the feds allege that this goes beyond manipulation. It's about using a combination of threats, violence, and financial control to force women into performing sex acts with these male prostitutes. And this constitutes forced labor under federal law. The next crime the feds allege was going on is kidnapping, which is in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 1201. Now, federal kidnapping laws kick in when someone is transported across state lines against their will, which is exactly what the indictment is saying Combs is doing to these women. Now, it's important to note, these are underlying crimes to support the RICO charge. Remember, this is supposed to be a criminal conspiracy for a corrupt organization. For instance, the indictment claims that Combs transported women across state lines to participate in these sex performances, which amounts to kidnapping because they were coerced and didn't leave on their own, according to the indictment. Now, the indictment also goes on to say even though these women may not have been physically restrained, the indictment makes it clear that the combination of coercion, drugs, and intimidation was enough to strip them of their ability to freely choose whether to stay or to go, which brings the charges of kidnapping into play. Now, when we think about kidnapping, we generally think about the person being restrained or tied up, but the feds aren't alleging that in this situation. They're saying that Combs created an environment where women felt trapped and unable to leave. And even if there wasn't a literal locked door preventing them to leave, the law considers that if you're coerced and manipulated enough, this could meet the standard for kidnapping, especially when someone's transported across state lines. The feds also charged Diddy with violating 18 U.S.C. Section 201. That's a bribery statute. Now, the indictment accuses Combs of trying to cover up his crimes by offering bribes to key witnesses and others who might expose his actions. Now, for this bribery charge, the indictment points to one specific event that involves Cassie Ventura that occurred in March 2026. Remember that video from the LA hotel where you see Combs kicking, dragging, and throwing a vase at Cassie? Well, the indictment says that when hotel security intervened, that Combs tried to bribe the staff to keep the incident quiet. Now, the government says that Combs had a pattern of offering hush money to silence witnesses or victims, which is what gives rise to the bribery charges. The government is saying that this is a clear attempt by Combs to avoid the legal consequences and cover up his illegal activity by paying people off. Lastly, we've got obstruction of justice charges under 18 U.S.C. section 1503. Now, this charge involves any action that interferes with the administration of justice, such as witness tampering or attempting to cover up crimes like paying people off. Now, if you haven't noticed by now, all the charges kind of build upon themselves. If you think about it, first they say you have a criminal organization, so they hit you with the RICO count. Then they say, well, in furtherance of the criminal organization, you were sex trafficking. And since you were sex trafficking, that means you were forcing people to do things like have sex against their will. That gets you to forced labor. And since you were using forced labor by transporting people across state lines, that gets them the kidnapping charge. And since you were paying people off to hide the fact you were doing all these things, that gets you the bribery charge. So the government specifically has built this document on all the preceding charges. So now let's talk about obstruction of justice again. Well, the indictment outlines that Combs used his influence at Combs Entertainment to intimidate and manipulate witnesses, preventing them from coming forward. It states that, quote, Combs and other members of the Combs enterprises threatened individuals who witnessed crimes. And additionally, it says Combs allegedly used his employees to help cover up his actions. Obviously, employees, that brings in the RICO charges. And they would do this through threats of retaliation against anyone who may expose him. Now, the government was claiming that Combs was actually preventing justice from being served by using threats and intimidation to silence potential witnesses and cover up his illegal activity. Now, last but not least, remember when police raided Combs' homes in Miami and Los Angeles?
They're gonna probably be arresting me just because we want to have a good time.
Multiple safes broken into, drawers ripped open, closets ransacked, boxes of gun ammo, and Grammy Awards. New images from TMZ show inside Diddy's ransacked Beverly Hills mansion during the coast-to-coast raids where no arrests were made.
Now, people were wondering, like, hey, if you raided his house, how come no arrests were made? But the feds lay out in this indictment what they found, like cocaine, Xanax, oxycodone, and the date rape drug. So it seems like the feds found all this illegal stuff and were waiting to build their case. So at the end of the day, there you have it. The key charges and facts behind them. Sean Combs is facing a lifetime in prison because these are serious allegations. We're talking about racketeering, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, obstruction of justice, arson. If convicted, Combs could face decades, and I mean, even forget about the decades, the rest of his life in prison. These charges carry significant penalties. And we're just talking about the federal charges. There could also be state charges following these prosecutions. So Combs has a lot of money, he has a lot of resources, and he's going to need them all because it seems like the dam has broke and he is facing some serious criminal liability. Now, P. Diddy was denied bail by a federal judge, and here is his attorney explaining why P. Diddy is 1,000% innocent.
So this was the first step. We have a bail appeal scheduled for tomorrow at 3:30 in front of Judge Carter, the district judge assigned to this case. I think that we made the points that we've been wanting to make. I think he came out. Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. He came to New York to establish his innocence. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of the charges. There's nothing that the government said in their presentation today that changes anyone's mind about anything. He's been looking forward to this day. He's been looking forward to clearing his name, and he's going to clear his name. And we're going to stand by his side as he does. We believe in him wholeheartedly. He didn't do these things. This was a 10-year relationship. There's no coercion. There's no crime. There's basically just, someone who brought a civil case and now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal case. And we're going to fight this case with everything we have, as is he. And eventually he's going to be shown to be innocent. And so tomorrow we fight again, and we'll fight every day until we don't have to fight anymore.
All right, so if you're listening to my voice right now, I want you to do me a favor. Check to see if you're subscribed to this channel, because this type of breakdown you're not getting from any place else, only from this channel. And again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Do all that great YouTube stuff. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace.
There's two main categorical reasons why I say Harris would be better than Trump. The first category is character.
Speaking of which, if we're bringing up stuff from the past, we can say she slept with Willie Brown, broke up a family, just.
Well. Diddy. Now, I'm surprised that they're throwing him to the wolves, but not that surprised. It makes for a good distraction for the poor blacks. I feel like they're itching closer and closer to themselves by doing so. Like, it's to the point now that I think the majority of people understand that that's what Hollywood and most of the upper echelons of the entertainment industry gets up to. And I can include politics in the entertainment industry as far as I'm concerned. They seem to be intertwined. 1,000 bottles? Of lube? My stepdaughter thought it was 1,000 bottles of GHB put in lube bottles to make it seem like lube. But I don't know the truth of that. He did mention that the feds said that they got GHB there, and okay. I didn't pause it and read it like I probably should have, but I'm not surprised. I mean, shit, when I was young, like, for some reason I didn't like Biggie, I didn't like Pac. Well, I'm sorry, I did like Pac, but I didn't like Biggie, and I didn't like Diddy. But I also liked Craig Mack. I also liked Mace. And I was young, 5, 6, 7, 8. You would think after Big and Pac die and Diddy kind of becomes the mainstream, like, biggest artist on the planet for a short period of time, probably if you just take out Mike, but if we're talking about hip-hop, Diddy becomes kind of the face of it for a short period of time after Pac and Big dies, until Jay becomes the face of it, basically. And I don't know, man. Like, I thought that, damn, man, those fish look real as fuck. Sorry. You would think with Diddy being the face, mainstream, and me being that age, 9, 10, or whatever, 7, 8, 9, that I would have gravitated towards Diddy, but as an artist even. But no, I didn't like him. Something about him that I just thought was off, and I don't know. I guess the spirit can tell. At the end of the day, do I think they're going to do anything to him? No, I don't think they can really convict him on any of these charges. But, with the Cosby effect, the MJ effect, the Michael Jackson effect, like, no one's going to look at him the same, even if he does walk away from this with no criminal charges sticking to him. His character is done. It's assassinated. Nobody's going to trust him with their children after this. At least if they do, then it would almost seem as if they're malevolently trying to give their child over to this. So what is this? Jubilee. Can one woke teen survive 20 Trump supporters? Oh God. I think we'll come back on that one. What's this?
Any normal woman wouldn't even be out here right now.
That's a fact. I would say she's certainly abnormal. Boy, these people are rotten. There's absolutely no sympathy.
Nasheen, I appreciate your anger and your feelings towards the...
Appreciate this, though. Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, Trips. I'm sorry, y'all. But, I guess I figured I might as well give a little bit of background on this. So this one I added to the playlist myself. The algorithm did bring it to me, though. But what's funny is it's like my favorite. This is like the build up to my favorite wrestling match of all time. But the problem is it shows you so much of the build up but does not show you how the match transpires, the payoff for all of this. Well, shit. My stepdaughter's getting out of school now. I've been on for almost an hour and a half. She's going to get home about 15, 20, maybe 30, 45 minutes. I don't know exactly how long it takes the bus to get back here. I've got to go to the store. And I'd prefer if I was home when she's here and I can make her go to the store with me, yada yada. But obviously we're not going to get through this entire, this is TH14. Can y'all see that? I'm not looking at my stream right now. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, I can't tell from this, from OBS's bullshit. TH14, capital TH14, is the channel name. I mean, I would like to get into this, but at the same time, I don't want to distract myself too much. But yeah, I am going to need to go to the store. Like, I've never, I don't have any kids of my own. And I'm 34. I went from no kids, I hadn't been around teenage girls since I was a teenage boy. So I didn't know how to handle the whole situation. Because you go from no experience whatsoever, not being around them, to you have a stepdaughter and she has her girlfriends over all the time. So that shit was a little bit of an adjustment, but at the same time, it's just been fucking nice. I know she's not listening all the time, but I think she hears a lot of what I say. And because of how I am, I think she listens to a lot more than I realize even sometimes. So it's pretty cool. But I'm really just stalling because I'm not sure how I want to proceed right now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put on one of my brother's CDs Dang We're on Fire was copyrighted, which was cool. I was like, okay, so damn, they actually got a copyright. But yeah, I'm gonna put in one of his CDs and let that bitch rock. I'm gonna go to the store, pick up a few things, and then I don't know. Actually, why don't we just come back to this? I don't even got no tags for that. I looked through and I didn't think I would actually stop and watch that. So we got Finkelstein here.
I've lost a couple by accident, and a couple of them need to be told. And now the rest of them right now are just... Go ahead.
Hi. During your speech, you made a lot of references to Jewish people as well as certain people in your audience, not Jewish people in general, but certain people, especially in your audience, to Nazis. Now, that is extremely offensive when certain people are German, and they're also extremely offensive to people who actually suffered under Nazi rule.
I don't respect that anymore. I really don't. I don't like and I don't respect.
The alligator tears is what I don't respect. What the hell was that? Like, I love women, don't get me wrong, but like I like how men typically, like, if they start a question like this in this situation aggressive, it's gonna be aggressive. It's not gonna go from aggression to weeping throughout the question. You know what I mean? Even though it doesn't seem like a question at all. OBS has crashed. Golly. It says OBS has crashed. Which one? The other one? Who knows? I won't know until after I end this motherfucker, I guess. Probably don't need to be cracking my sunflower seeds in the mic. But yeah, I don't like the alligator tears. I don't like that bullshit.
The crocodile tears. The crocodile tears. No. I'm sorry, folks. Allow me to finish. And allow me to finish. Listen, sir. Allow me to finish. Sir. I don't like to play before an audience the Holocaust card. But since now I feel compelled to. My late father was in Auschwitz. My late mother, please shut up. My late father was in Auschwitz. My late mother was in Majdanek concentration camp. Every single member of my family on my father's side,
That was pretty hilarious. Like, her grabbing her temples, like, I can't believe it. His parents were in Auschwitz and he disagrees with me.
my late father was in Auschwitz concentration camp. My late mother was in Majdanek concentration camp. Every single member of my family on both sides was exterminated. Both of my parents were in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. And it's precisely and exactly because of the lessons my parents taught me and my two siblings that I will not keep silent when Israel commits its crimes against the Palestinians. And I consider nothing more despicable than to use their suffering and their martyrdom to try to justify the torture, the brutalization, the demolition of homes that Israel daily commits against the Palestinians. So
honestly, it's hard to disagree with that. Like, I've always found it strange, like, and very compelling. The people that came out of the concentration camps aren't like the most loving and compassionate people. It just seemed odd to me that instead they're willing to commit genocide or create an open-air concentration camp for another group of people immediately upon leaving the concentration camps. It's like the irony of it is lost on everyone, I guess, but not on me. It's just weird. Like, I don't want to believe that it's purposeful, but it's kind of hard to think it's not. You're talking about the fourth highest funded military in the planet against a group of people who aren't on the list. Recently, somebody asked me about this whole thing, and I was like, look, I can't really look at it from those terms because I didn't grow up in Israel or grow up in that part of the world. But I grew up in America, and I know how Americans would feel if the federal government told Mexico, hey, your cartels are killing people over here. They're bringing drugs in. So we're just going to indiscriminately murder a bunch of women and children and men, whether they're enemy combatants or not, until y'all fix the cartel problem. We're just going to hellfire missile your kids playing soccer on a beach. We're just going to shoot bombs and drop bombs into wherever the fuck you're at. Civilian population or not, any kind of military strategic advantage or not, that's what we're going to do. Until you fix the cartel problem. And Americans wouldn't like that. I don't think we would be okay with that. I don't think the world would be okay with that. So it's kind of strange in this particular situation that you can't find a diplomatic solution and can't secure your borders yourself. With $4 billion a year from the Americans, with our F-19 or F-16s, with our drones that we paid for y'all, you can't secure your border well enough. It seems to me almost like you need a boogeyman to justify what you wanted to do in the first place. This bitch wants me to unlock the door. I'll be right back. Let me let Finkelstein go in.
I refuse any longer to be intimidated or browbeaten by this here. If you had any part of you, you would be crying for the Palestinians, not for the Israel.
Would you condemn Hamas for what they did?
My view is as follows. Number one, as far as the evidence shows now, atrocities occurred on October 7th. The magnitude of the atrocities and the types of atrocities, for example, were children beheaded, were women raped. That remains, so far as I can tell from the evidence, an open question. However, that there were atrocities that occurred, my answer is yes. That's a factual question. And then there is the legal question. As a matter of law, it seems unquestionable that the people who perpetrated these atrocities would be prosecuted and convicted in the court of law. However, I would say on the legal question, I should think that there would be some mercy shown because those who carried out the atrocities were concentration camp inmates. Number three, which I think is the one...
Concentration camp inmates. I never knew this, but apparently Norman sees it very similarly to me. Where the situation that has been built and created for the Palestinians is very similar to the idea of a concentration camp. Especially once you find out that the concentration camps had intramural sports, they deloused the people, they had their own currency, they had rabbit farms for meat. It doesn't sound like a death camp, quite honestly. Why would a death camp need its own currency for the inmates? Why would you need intramural sports for the inmates of a death camp? why would you delouse people you're just going to kill? That doesn't make any sense. But I'll be considered an anti-Semite for asking such questions.
That concerns you the most is the moral question. My basic precept is that there but for the grace of God go I. That is to say, I'm very reluctant to condemn people who are in a position or in a condition such that were I in that position or condition, I'm not sure what I would do. Now, the 1,500 young men who burst the gates of Gaza, they were born into a concentration camp. They lived for 2 decades in a concentration camp. They had no past. They had no present. They had no future. They had no jobs. Half of them, according to humanitarian organizations, suffered from what's called severe food insecurity. And then on top of that, as I'm sure you know, Pierce, because you keep up with the news, periodically Israel goes into Gaza and it mows the lawn. And you know what mows the lawn means. It means a high-tech massacre in Gaza. In 2008-9, Operation Cast Lead. 2012, Operation Pillar of the Fence. 2014, Operation Protective Edge. And in each of these high-tech massacres visited on the people of Gaza, in some cases hundreds, in some cases thousands of Palestinians are killed. You ask me why I won't condemn them. Because those young men were born into a concentration camp. They were born into among the most dense populated places on God's earth. Half of the population of Gaza is children. 70% are refugees who were expelled from Israel in 1948 and their descendants. 70% of Gaza's youth have no jobs, no future, no nothing.
Okay,
And the people
Professor
of
Finkelstein.
Gaza have the right to hate the people who destroy their lives.
Hate is a very powerful word, but I can't disagree with them. If I had been born in a concentration camp, if I had been born in the most radical and most abusive form of slavery, if I had been born into one of these situations, I can't really say for sure what I would do. I mean, some people have, and me myself too, I'm like, when I was a kid and they forced me to watch Roots, I was like, well, do they want me to just hate white people? And they're like, no, of course not. And I'm like, okay. And then I started to look at it like, well, why didn't they just, there's more of them. Why didn't they just kill the owner of the plantation? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. And I definitely had ideas for scripts where, you know, a slave comes up and I had I wasn't sure which way I wanted to go in the script with it, whether I wanted it to be where he creates an uprising or not. I didn't want it to be that, I think, originally. Originally, the idea I had was he's a crab on the edge of the bucket, and the rest of them are linked together holding him in, right? To where they don't want him to die, and he's not acting in such a way that makes them think that they'll all be in danger. So they are protecting him to an extent, but none of them agree with him that a revolt would actually be positive. And then something happens to a slave that's close to him. And again, this was like an outline I had in my mind for a story, not really well thought out, but still, something the slave owner does has a catastrophic effect on another slave that he's very close with. And whether it's that person dies, there's some kind of finality to it, to where it pushes our protagonist over the edge, and he says, fuck a revolution, and fuck having everybody in my corner, and fuck all of that shit. I'm going to walk in that house tonight with a knife, and none of them are going to walk out. And neither is anybody who stops me. And then it becomes a revolution after that point. Or a revolt, or whatever you want to call it, on that particular plantation. I had a story for something like that, but And that's because I could imagine a person feeling justified under those conditions to do whatever. Especially when we see what people justify to themselves to do when they're serial killers or whatever. They're like, their mother treated them poorly, and therefore they're killing 16 women and dumping their bodies in the mountains. So with way more oversight by the government to be able to say, like, this person did this and this did, you know what I'm saying, the technology to pin you down was way more prevalent at this point in history. And that's what disenfranchised men were doing, who were mentally unstable. But but let them tell it. Only Nat Turner had a revolt, and I really haven't been taught about any others. They'll show us roots and they'll show people fleeing, but they won't show what I think would be the natural conclusion that I think most young people especially would think is like, why wouldn't you just kill them? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Oh, well, some people will eventually come to the plantation and find out we murdered him. So we'll deal with that when they, you know what I'm saying, when they find us, if they do. But by that point, an entire slave culture could overrun a few different plantations and have quite a few arms, especially in that point in time, unless information moved a lot faster than we've been led to believe. But if you think some dogs were gonna stop niggas, like, I'm no, like, that was one thing I wanted in a show or something at some point too, is that, like, they send these dogs out and one of the slaves just grabs that dog by the neck, just snaps his neck, like what the fuck, and just runs off. And then the guy, like, runs to where he last heard his dog yelp, and then he finds his dog's body. And I get it, like, if you want people to be sympathetic towards, you know what I mean, towards the slave, like the slave breaking a dog's neck, it probably wouldn't be the most. But at the same time, like, it would be understandable and what you would expect from a full-grown man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, dog, but I'm going to wrap my arm around your throat and I'm going to snap you that shit. Like, sorry. You should have turned on your master. But, I don't know where I'm at. Where am I at? Finkelstein? I'm going to go off on Finkelstein because, like, honestly, probably get you demonetized, get you, probably get you demonetized. It'll probably get you.
Hey, folks, please enjoy this clip from our.
Probably get you banned. Even though he is Jewish himself. Not Semitic, of course, but Jewish. Unless he's one of the rare exceptions. That's another thing that just bothers me about the whole thing, is like Judaism and those who profess it claim to believe, they say that they believe the Torah, what Moses wrote, the first few books of the Bible. But in the first few books of the Bible, it's apparent that they aren't Semitic people. They're not from the line of Shem. They're from the line of Japheth. Or they're from Esau's line, which cast out his birthright. So either way, it's not their land. They're not Semitic. people anymore. So in Revelations lays this out. I think it's Revelations 3:8. I hate to be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure, and it should be easy to find anyway. It's like, I know the iniquities of those who call themselves Jews but are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So there's only one group of people on the planet today that are calling themselves Semitic that ain't Semitic, as far as I'm aware. Return of the Cis. I like that fucking name. Instead of Return of the Sith. It still kind of casts naturally born, but at the same time, it's like, who uses cis for objective reality of male and female? I've yet to meet anyone in person who says cis or Zer or any of that shit. When I do, I'm gonna tell them I don't speak Ebonics.
Show, which you can find every single day at 4 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Rumble.
We've been doing the best shows we've ever done, completely free of censorship and on a platform that actually supports us.
You can also support us on...
Oh, and this is Bill Maher. Can't relate to children, which I don't know why he would be. He doesn't have children of his own, so he's not a father, so... I mean, you would think, though, you'd remember being a child, right? But I don't know, we'll see how this goes.
Locals, where you can access a ton of exclusive content, movie riffs, as well as an archive
Of over 1,000 full episodes going back as far as 7 years. We've also teamed up with Merch Engine.
And when they say kids, they mean like college. Oh, no, it says children. Like actual children? Let's just keep it going.
Really awesome quality shirts, hoodies,
and now even hats. So come check out our untethered, uncensored show on Rumble every single weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern. You stupid idiots. Okay, can I set this up? Can I give credit?
Hey. Sure.
I wouldn't have known about this had it not been from Carl from Who Are These Podcasts.
Okay.
And this was like a small
Oh,
segment.
he's the guy that started the Dabblerverse?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, Mr. Lady K. Anyway, he did a small segment on this, and I don't know who brought it to his show, but they were covering it. This is some of the most awkward shit you're ever going to watch in your life. Bill Maher brought a bunch of children into his studio.
Why did he do that?
I don't know, to
Why-
fuck them. And,
Well, I didn't have to make the joke. Why would he do this? Odd. Very odd.
But I want you to... every moment of this is awkward and amazing. It's exactly what you'd expect Bill Maher being around children.
Hey, kids.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Kyle. I'm
Hi.
Kyle.
And you're?
I'm Beverly.
Beverly, of course. Now, obviously, there's been
Of
a
course, they told me
booking
about you.
mix-up
Oh, God, he's so weird.
because you're not even close to the same age.
Yeah.
So, you know, what can I say? It's hard.
Are you gonna do political? Your witty political humor with children, Bill?
I will. Because I have to go check the mail and do the dishes and the litter. Because that's what Mama said. Oh, I really hope she's not on that live. Because that'd be bad. But I haven't, colored it. I just, as you can tell, started. These are going to be bricks. I'm going to have it across the whole thing.
Killer point?
Killer point, yeah, because it's a ballerinas. He's an assassin. He doesn't.
She's doing the splits.
Yeah, because I couldn't draw anything else came up. That's the only thing I could draw. And I took this from a scene in BoJack. You know, when Diane and Todd's fiance start talking and the whole gun fiasco happens and she shoots the gun and you see it slowly come out of the bullets slowly come out the gun and I literally did that. I just changed the name. And then because I didn't feel like making a face, I just gave her a little afro in the back.
Looks good.
Yeah, and I did all this in an hour, which I know I feel like, but I literally have a ruler. I was sitting here, I taped the ruler down to the table so it would be straight. I was, yeah.
It was.
Yeah. And that ain't even that good. All of it's not even really that straight, but.
Well, I gotta go to the store. But first, I'm gonna get my laptop, get some music going. But yeah, I'll be back. I'll get some music going up in a bit.
You know what we could just do instead, too?
Nope. I do not.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, okay?
Nope.
Yeah,
Okay.
I am gonna tell you. So, you know how you just said you're gonna go to the store? I could just come with you, and so then you could just, on the way back.
Yeah.
No, that's too much. I'll just go box on my box.
Uh-huh. So on the back way, what?
You would stop at the mailbox and I'd get the mail.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just gonna go
Either way.
Hmm?
Said either way. I'm just putting some music on so there's something at least playing. Even though ain't nobody here at the moment. I'm gonna put it on my YouTube and I got 100 and something odd subscribers, so how do I
gotta show you the video.
how do I do this? Wait a minute.
Well, why not just install?
I might not have anything in it yet.
Caleb,
What?
I maxed that 65 today on bench press. I couldn't do 70.
Damn. The maxed out.
Well, because we were doing our maxes today, so eventually I'll get there, but just for now. I was so disappointed. But it's because I haven't been weight training in a week and a half because they've been having weird schedules and we miss school and stuff like that. And so I'm going to get those games back. So I'm stuck at 65. Because I was, right before, the last time I had weight training, I was doing 7. Doing 7, 3 reps of 7. I couldn't even get it off. As soon as it went down, I couldn't get it up. I wanted to literally slam my head in the car door on the Civic. That's how much I'm going.
what he said? Or something. I will fuck something is what he said, but I'm like,
Sounds like he said boyfriend.
not Kodak, no.
I don't know, a lot of rappers rap about boy on boy stuff. Like Biggie did a lot.
I mean, yeah. And
And we know Biggie ain't gay.
like when DMX used to do it, it came across like that jail talk where like it's not serious, but like it's just like a way of demeaning one.
Yeah.
But then Biggie comes out and says some shit like, look so good, I gotta suck on your daddy's dick or something. I was like, no. I don't know where that came from. What, you freestyle that? That was in your brain to say that? Those words were? Okay. I've said some shit that I was like, oh, no, that ain't right. But not like that.
Because his father raped him when he was a child. No, the men. No, something was going on. Their dad. Their dad, wasn't raping both of them. He was only doing it to one of them since he was like a kid. And then he told his brother, and his brother told his mom, and his mom was like, don't ever say that again. And like, instead of believing them and helping them, which she already knew was happening, because when the one who I don't know which one it was, but the one that dad was messing with since he was a kid, he was like 6 or 7 or 8, and he went to his aunt who was just like in her teens and was like, I wanna play. And she was like, okay, when you wanna play? She was like, I wanna play. He was like, I wanna play with you down there. And she was like, what? And he was like, yeah, that's what me and dad do, play with each other's penises. And so then the aunt, who's again like a teenager, bless you, went downstairs with the kid and was like, hey, so-and-so just told me, and she was like, don't make stuff up like that. He would never say anything like that. Like, girl. The mom said that. And took the son away and was like, come on, it's time to bed. Like, girl. And so, eventually, they killed their parents. But it's not like they just killed them because, oh, they didn't, like, they deserved it. You're gonna let your son get raped, and you're gonna rape your son from when he is a small child?
So you probably haven't seen her in the school either. All off. Hey. I showed your mom that shit. She was like, damn, that was a good movie. Yeah, I'm always there for gyms.
Is it, okay, so you know in Marvel, Tony's best friend, that black dude who's like, he's in like the other Iron Man outfit? Is he in that movie? The one you were just talking about, yeah. Because I don't know if it's Paul Walker, but I know he's in a movie with someone who looks like really good. Wow.
We were just looking at Takers the other day, which I don't know if I can call it a good movie or not. I think I remember when I watched the first one, but I would have like T.I., Idris Elba, Chris Brown, Paul Walker, the one guy with the African name who's pretty good looking.
That's pink.
I would pay money to see her baby in the studio.
Probably Trapping Clover Part 6. Everybody saw Part 1. That's just, I don't know what that's about.
life ferocious. Super fruity in the back, cause yeah, I be the dopest. Riding behind limo tent, just trying to keep my focus. The way we make them disappear, the shit like hocus pocus. Woman smoking luxury, living how a star would. Gave a girl the classic. Yeah, you know that hardwood. They be burning beef, but they be like at least the guard good. I be burning ties and be like at least the car good. I am Arnold Schwarzenegger, you was just an amateur. Flexing hard off in the game and you ain't got no stamina. Beef I drink like baking soda, I'll arm and hammer you. I'm just a dom with them cannons that go blemish you. Money management, I heard you niggas really lacking that. You the type of nigga that a real nigga laughing at. I be in the studio, something like a lab rat. I heard that nigga snitching when we catch him, that's a flat rat. Flex, flex. All we do is flex. All we do is flex, flex, flex. All we do is flex. All we know is flex. Flex is super hard. Warp speed on these niggas. Futuristic shit. Getting lit. That's just how we keep it.
Chevys in the drops, recognize we the truth, and we beating down your block, and we swinging every corner.
I reminisce when I'm on that piss. Wonder what if it ain't like this. VIP put me on the list. Sprite note, Sierra miss. Blow some steam when I get pissed. Go to the range and shoot the stick. I'm 32 like I'm 23. Just trying to see what's in front of me. Like lame moves with that fuckery. Just back, stay the fuck for me. Just valet that truck for me. Leather inside luxury. Flip for free. Cause fuck with me, I'm blessed, it ain't no luckily. They wanna make some bucks with me, but really I can't fuck with thee. I'm up on the spirit, I know you can hear it. I ain't, but my sins is cleared. I'm handling my business to give me some digits. I want me a lady, but keep finding bitches. They ain't committed, so I can't get with it. I might even hit the regret that I did it, cause I can't find one that's even worth my time. Found out that they lying. I'm like, why am I trying? Cause even with glasses, these hoes be so blind. Boy, what else Nick got on this motherfucker, Jack? This motherfucker's hot. I mean, to me anyway, like, personally. I might be biased because, you know, it's my brother or whatever, but I really fuck with our shit, like, and his shit. So, thoughts. I got lots of thoughts. Got so many thoughts, how many? I got me a lot. I got me a spot. I got me a lot. And reaping the satisfaction of all my hard work, all my dedication, I invested. And I besides got the tracks for all you fucking patients. Gotta give you what you want, cause I know that you've been waiting for some new shit to blow your mind. But guess what? Right on time, right? Shouldn't be late. There's a wasp in here. I gotta grab this wasp real quick.
Got so many thoughts, how many? I got me enough. Got tired of the problems, so I got me smile. Got so many problems, I got me enough. Lots of thoughts.
Don't be a fool. Haggard Developments.
Well, let me introduce myself. Ziploc T. Are you hip hop, reggae, or R&B? Bitch, I'm good for my health. Don't bother me. You can probably find me where your daughter be. Got crazy money like I won the lottery or Monopoly, but more properly. Bitch, can't you see that I'm hot property? She went from jocking me to on top of me. Teazo, get crunk one time, get jiggy one time, have fun sometimes. Ain't no punchline. Say jiggy, so look pop your head too. Flip a pound too. Sip a Mountain Dew or a brew with your crew. That's how you do. Now I'm done doing me, baby. What about you? Hey, 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 yeah. What you used to? That same old shit. Fuck that. This too hot to hold, bitch. That's why I gotta drop it. Stay the hottest topic when I'm inside of my ride like I'm off a spinning carpet. Cause I'm flying in a jet in my car likewise. Once we take a date, bitch, come back and she like guys. Cause bitch, I'm like wise. Bitch, you like lies. That's why I can't fuck with none of you guys. Get crunk one time, get jiggy one time, have fun sometimes. Ain't no punchline.
Well, Tizo. That's my brother, and I mean, just like over the years, there's a bunch of tracks. It's just fun to go back and listen to them sometimes. Let's go ahead and pause that. Let's jump back into this. Bill Maher. I'm willing to believe will make. I won't go so far as to say that he'll make a pass at the little girl or the teenage boy, but I'm willing to bet that he will be inappropriate in front of them. As sad as that is, I don't think he seems to. I'm not sure if it is an act or if what he portrays in his podcast on his TV show is very close to the real Bill, and if that's the case, I don't think there's any on-off switch for him, or because it doesn't seem to matter who he's in the room with. When I see him on the internet, he's similarly frustrating in the same areas and similarly entertaining in the same areas. Let's just say that. I don't want to say he's the same no matter what, but I can see him being saying something that I'd be like, or talking to the kids about race or gender or something like that, and I'd be like, don't. But let's see what happens.
You get good help, what? How?
So who are you voting for? What do you think about tariffs?
So how old are you?
8.
8?
Yes.
Wow, you look older than 8, but
Man, him saying that.
Weird. I mean, is it? Does she look older than 8? I mean, the idea of a person who's media trained, who's made a living, I wouldn't say investigating, but commentating on scandals and, the most perverse of things, and making, comedy of it. that you don't have the mind, the comedic understanding, even that even if you don't have the intention of doing so, that some of the things that you some of the things you might want to stay away from talking about or saying, and that's one of those, you know, just because, like, it's something that, yeah, it's acceptable to say to a child, but most of our I think most adults' interaction with a phrase like that would be with a suitor, right? A male suitor of some sort that's saying you look younger than you are. Although he's saying you look older to a child, maybe because no, well, let's not put too much. That's going too far, I think. Let's just continue.
It's fucking.
Yeah,
creepy, right?
yeah, I don't like that.
at all.
I don't like it.
Plainly, you're not a.
Oh, look at crosses. Everything
But
about
it would be
him.
plainly you're not white. What are we doing here?
No, I'm 16.
16.
Yeah, twice
Are
already.
you Russell Wilson?
I don't know if that's not Russell Wilson. I
We're
can't.
not sure.
I won't put my money on it.
I won't put my money on Russell Wilson either.
Same age as him.
You what?
My brother.
Ah, maybe that's the mix-up. Maybe it was supposed to be your brother. Are you?
Well, you really need a studio audience, don't you, Bill?
Is there anybody between you and your brother at 16 and 8?
Get ready for the first weird moment.
Okay, here we go.
Kat, she's 14 or 15.
That does not really count. I mean, I'm talking about
because
human.
I have a sister. She's the old.
Maybe I might run it back just a scooch because it was off for some reason on my end. Hopefully not on yours, but just in case.
Don't you, Bill?
Is there anybody between you and your brother at 16 and 8?
Get ready for the first weird moment.
Okay, here we go.
Kat, she's 14 or 15.
That does not really count. I mean, I'm talking about
because
human.
I have a sister. She's the oldest of my sibling.
How old is
I'm the
she?
youngest of my. She's 19.
So 19, 16, and 8. I always was curious about families like that where the kids are like very far apart. They was like, honey, there's that thing we used to do. What was it? It was.
Why are you talking?
I think he was about to say what I was about to say, which is, are you talking about marital sex in front of this very young girl right now? I don't know if you know this, but typically parents would prefer to have those kind of talks with their children themselves. Probably not for the entertainment of your viewers, Bill. Not to mention it looks bad for you. Not that I'm surprised. You know, there's a reason why some of those old stereotypes survived. Let's just say some cliches are cliche for a reason. Idioms become colloquial metaphors for a reason. And there was a time when people were told to be weary of older men who were single with no children, who had never been married. And I think there's a specific reason for that, but I can't speak to anybody in particular because I don't know, for sure. But I'd be weary. Just in case.
talking about. He's implying sex.
Whoa, what?
I knew you guys would love
Hold
this.
on a second.
Oh, I knew he'd love this.
Is he?
Yes.
Is
Oh
he
my
implying-
god.
Because can I
With
explain?
my fucking 8-year-old daughter?
Can I explain
Bro, what-
something?
Can we start the Marverse?
Can I propose a theory here?
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely don't think that Bill Maher is like necessarily like has any weirdness towards kids.
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't say that.
But the man lives in such a pot-fueled, prostitute-buying Hollywood bubble
that
He's
everything's sex.
Never around kids. He doesn't even have a few cold topics that you could right. Like you got a few topics on deck. If somebody,
I mean, literally, ask the kid what his favorite color is. Like, ask the kid what hobbies they like. Do they play any sports? I don't know how we get off on to how we have to drag it around to sex. But that tells me it's gonna... If he brings up sex, drugs, and... no, not rock and roll. If he brings up sex, drugs, and race and gender in this discussion with these children, I'm gonna fucking laugh my ass off. Like, 'cause I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised. They're probably taking a snippet and expounding upon it, so they might not have even stopped on everything that was there.
he went, "Hey Royce, can you watch my nephew for a few hours? I gotta leave, whatever." You could be like, "Sup, man? You like Fallout, little nigga? You like wrestling, like something, you know?"
What do you think? What are your views on the Weimar Republic?
That would be a bad example
of a way to run a country. I agree, and there was a solution.
But you have these little things you can jump to, like, hey, you ever watch the old X-Men cartoon? When I was a kid, man, we loved that shit. Y'all put
I did.
that on.
You ever watch the X-Men cartoon? And as soon as it's on, be like, Magneto was in the Holocaust.
But, you know,
and that's
Yes, that X-Men cartoon was the shit. And when you heard that, boy, like that shit was going in, and you was like, "Oh shit, show's about to start." Run back into the room, but there could be something to that he's just like, he talks about the same things regardless of who he's talking to. And if that's the case, then why would it be any different to a child? I mean, for me, I don't change how I talk to children. I don't do any baby talk either when we're talking about infants and shit. And like, you know, from the time they're born to they start speaking English, I speak English to them. Like, so I'm just, but there's certain things I'm not gonna intentionally talk about around a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old. Like when they start to understand English, and then I'm gonna talk about like their parents having sex or something wild like that when they're before the age that it would be expected that they know about it. Like that's weird. Like that's one of those, oh, I forgot that moral along the way. You know what I mean? Like I've lost most of my principles by this age, and I can't seem to find the let children be children and help to participate in keeping them innocent. You know, don't be the one to bring up these disgusting topics. I mean, I guess it's only disgusting because they are children, and it is marital sex, which isn't really disgusting, I think, because I think their parents are married. But at least he's not getting debaucherous about it, but still, it's like, well, on television or on a podcast that you then have control of to either edit or, you know, not have on the show at the end of the day, and you leave that on there, what are you trying to tell me with this, Bill? Like, that's where it gets to the point where it's like, well, wait a minute, what? Because if it was like, you know, you're at a bus stop with your older brother, and he's sitting next to an older gentleman who just strikes up a conversation, and he reacts in a certain way and brings up something like this, and you never see him again, like, that's different. Like, that was a random scenario with a random stranger. This, I mean, Bill's a stranger to them, but this is a scenario that their parents had to have okayed, and now they're sitting there talking about their parents having sex on the internet for everyone to ever see, and I mean, they were cool with it, I guess. So it's just strange, a strange world that we're in, quite honestly.
Talk about those numbers again.
Bill Maher, like, he doesn't know everything. He knows is booze and sex and parties and like Met galas. Like, he's so
highbrow political humor shit. Yeah,
I always thought that was weird. Your parents didn't fuck for like 8 years. Like,
what are you doing,
Wait,
bro?
Hi, I'm
what you're
8.
saying- So it's like putting X-Men on with an 8-year-old and leaning in and going, you know, they fuck, right?
Yeah. What is that?
It's like my go-to. I always joke about if you leave me alone with a kid for a while and I have to watch him, like, immediately, I don't even care if it's July, it's gonna be